Well, we're taking the show on the road, so to speak. Occasionally on Oklahoma Gardening, you know that we go and visit gardeners throughout the state. And today we're in Edmond, Oklahoma, at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Lindsay Faller. And with me today is Wanda. And Wanda, welcome to Oklahoma Gardening.
Hi, Steve.
Thank you for inviting us. It's just so serene and peaceful here. And on this area, you were feeding your fish. Tell us a little bit about what we've got here.
Well, 2 years ago, we wanted a water garden. We'd seen a lot, and so my husband and I just decided we had to have one.
You spend a lot of time out here?
Yeah, we enjoy the fish. We really do. This used to be kind of the bad part of our yard. We couldn't get the grass to grow or anything, and now it's one of our favorite places.
And that's because of all the shade, I guess. A lot of shade and trees, that kind of thing. Well, Wanda, you've got how much acreage or 1,000 square feet? What are we talking about
We've
here?
got 2 acres.
2 acres, okay. Now, the reason we found out about you, you're known for your perennials and annuals and flowers and that kind of thing. Your fish pond is great, but I'd like for you to take me around the north side of your house on the deck, and let's see some of your other plants and those kinds of things.
Okay, I'd love to.
Well, Wanda, how long have you been living here?
Well, we've lived here 13 years.
And I guess all the gardens are kind of a gradual process, aren't they?
Yeah, they just kind of started out with one little bed and kind of worked up to this. Every year we kind of add something.
Well, that makes it fun, though, and that way you can afford to do it, too, a little bit at it. One thing I've noticed here at the edge of your deck, you've actually got container plants sitting down inside here. Looking at it from the side, it looks like they're planted right in there. Why did you do something like that?
Well, it saves on soil, and it also keeps, if you put the soil against the deck, it'd rot the wood.
Okay, so it'll last a little longer. Well, it's a nice color. People don't think about using massa white color, but it really is attractive. You've also got some kind of exotic plants in containers sitting around, some hibiscus, and then we start getting into color. But one thing, Wanda, I noticed is a design feature. We're on the north side of your house, which would get a lot of shade. And you've actually designed the beds that way. Tell us a little bit about that area, what's happened there.
Well, in the shade, we get a lot of water there too, and the moneywort grows real well there. And then across, we get full sun, and so I have mostly perennials with annuals in for color. I like to have more color up around the house.
Right. And that's a good point for the viewers. Most of the time we try to put the plants up close to the house. You've just used a ground cover with the sidewalk to pull the bed out away from the house, away from the shade, and then you've got it in full sun, and then it's a great design there with no corners, and it's just really attractive. Well, we've kind of insinuated the color and what there is to expect. Let's go look at some of the other varieties now that you have.
Okay.
Well, Wanda, this is your island bed where you have your seedling daylilies, and you tell me your daylilies are your favorite perennial. What do you mean, though, by seedlings?
Well, these in this bed are all daylilies that I've started from seed, and so they're all different.
And basically, you're taking 2 parents and crossing them. Why don't you show us how you do that?
Well, you take the pollen off of one daylily. The pollen's dried because it's so late, but early in the morning you take the pollen, and then you'd put it on to the other daylily. Then I mark what I've crossed with what and put a little tag on it, and then the seed pod forms. And in about 2 months that will ripen. It'll turn brown and start to crack open, and then I take the seeds out, plant them in the garden in a row about 1/4 of an inch deep.
Okay. So you plant them immediately then?
Plant them immediately.
Okay.
And in about 2 years they will bloom for the first time, and they'll all be different.
Well, some other plants you've got in here, you've got an annual here along the border that's purple. Tell us what that is.
This little purple flower is Nerambergia. It's a wildflower, and once you have it, it comes up from seed.
Okay, and then the yellow one is one of your favorites too, isn't it?
Yes, I really like it. It's Coreopsis moonbeam. It's a threadleaf Coreopsis, and it blooms all summer.
Okay. Well, Wanda, you've got other beds of just, it looks like hundreds of perennials that border your woods. and you've kind of got an English area, and you've just got so many favorites we couldn't cover all the time. But it's starting to get warm enough now. Why don't we go take a look at the shade garden? I think it's pretty good timing to get under the shade and get away from this heat.
Okay, Steve, let's do.
Well, Wanda, it is definitely about 10 to 15 degrees cooler in this wooded area. One thing I really like is the way you're using your grass clippings as a mulch in the walkways. It's really a great way to recycle. And tell us, Wanda, a little bit about some of the things that you've got planted out in your shade garden.
Well, this is something I did this spring. It's mainly hostas with different kinds of ferns and columbines and cladiums and a few blooming things that bloom in the shade.
Right. Well, you've done a nice job, and it'll take a little while for it to mature, but it really looks great. And Wanda, we want to thank you for inviting us out. It has definitely been most rewarding and relaxing and a great pleasure. And hope you've enjoyed it, and hope you'll join us again next week here on Oklahoma Gardening. Thanks for watching.